Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. What can be said that has not been said before? And if it is all been said before, then what's the need for more? If it is already available, what is the search about? And if it is not available, where can one go to find it? Is it possible for it to not be available? Is it really? Even while the intense suffering is present and there seems to be no way out of it or through it, is it still not available in that experience, within that experience? So when it is choicelessly, naturally, always available, what is the search about? Really, honestly. Even the search seems to be choiceless. There may come a moment, though, when this question may really land within one's system, that what is the search about? What does the search need for it to feel fulfilled, to be complete? And before that happens, there may be many answers for the search, depending on where the focus seems to be of the very experiencing of life. Sometimes the search is about validation from out there. Sometimes it's about respect, love, fame. They're really different ways of labeling the same fruit, more or less. And that fruit seems to be reachable, and the pursuit of that fruit seems to be worth it until the fruit is achieved and enjoyed, and one may realize that this doesn't do it. The search is still here. So then what is the search really about? Then another paradigm of answers may start showing up. The search may seem to be about purifying the thoughts, controlling the thoughts, silencing the thoughts, finding the truth, healing, transformation, the inner transformation, finding a guru, going to India, going to retreat after retreat, watching a YouTube video after a video, without really knowing what the search seems to be about. Something comes on the pedestal and everything just becomes focused on that until that is achieved, or until one gets tired enough when one has really tried and done everything in its power to find the fruit that is being searched for. There may happen you can call it surrender, you can call it an insight happens, or just a natural, choiceless giving up because there's nothing more left to do. And it seems to be a very funny and tragic, maybe at the same time. Recognition that it is in the end of doing that the being is revealed. It's in the very end of search, or the search falling away, that the fruit of the very search lies. That's where it lies. And I can hear that, I can believe that, and I can try to do the end of doing. And even that is choiceless. And that is the joke. Doing the end of doing is not possible. Finding the object of the search is not possible from the place of being a seeker. As the seeker identity may fall away, it is clearly seen that what was being sought after has already been here all throughout, even while the search was going on. And as a seeker, I may ask, well, what good does it do to me if it's choiceless? What can I do? And that's a very valid question. The doing, as choiceless as it is, a seeker can only just do enough and get tired of it. And that's not the only way. This is not a way that a seeker is getting out of itself, because that also is not possible. A seeker can never know the fruit of what is being sought after. It's in the absence of the seeker or the seeking, which is the same thing, essentially, that the fruit lies. And then it's not even a fruit. To the seeking, to the seeker, it seems like a yummy, delicious fruit. And when the seeking is absent, it's just what is. It's just natural. It's almost ordinary. But you tell this to the seeker? No. For the seeker, it's unfathomable. And accurately so, it is unfathomable to the seeker. So what is the search really about? Maybe a powerful moment of discovery, and may contribute towards the seeking becoming ready to fall away. And I, as the seeker, cannot do it. That's the paradox. Doing from the being is available, is possible, and that's actually already the case. But being from the doing is not possible. The seeker never finds it. And that is the best news ever. It is never found anyway, because it is never lost. So what's the point of finding something that always has been here? It is within which the very idea of losing it or finding it is playing. It is not a belief. It is not something to be believed. It is available to be discovered right here in this moment, as the whole baggage of the seeking and being the seeker and what is needed for me to be rested, to feel that I'm resting in peace. All of that stuff, as is subsided, even just for a moment, if that's available and possible, this vast, boundaryless, whatever you want to call it, is here, within which all that stuff that subsided for a moment is present or playing or falls away in. So as a seeker, either you can try hard enough so that eventually you as the seeker can just feel sick and tired of trying and give up the pursuit choicelessly, because the seeker cannot pretend to give up the pursuit, because then giving up the pursuit will be intended towards finding and still searching for what can appear after the seeming pursuit has fallen away. So that pretending is actually more searching on top of the actual searching. Or the seeker can just relax and let it unfold, which again also will be choiceless if it happens. The word choiceless has been used quite a bit in this talk so far. What does it really mean? So choiceless wouldn't mean that there is absence of choices, but choiceless is pointing to a place where there is no chooser that needs to choose. There may seem to be decisions happening. There may seem to be choices happening. And yet there is no one that is the owner of those choices or the chooser of those choices. They just unfold choicelessly. So I, as this human being, what do I seem to be searching for? Find out your own discovery of what happens with that question within you. Don't take anybody's answer for this. And when that answer shows up for you of what the search really seems to be about within you, for you, then the help is available. The pointing or the resources to move, to unfold towards the end of that search, to reach the fruit of that search, whatever it may be. We are fortunate enough that we live in a time that the resources are available. The more philosophical this search becomes in quality, the more complicated it may become. As it morphs into or flowers into a more practical, clear, concise, and to the point search, where the object of the search is clear, the search may become very juicy in itself. And the allowance to let it unfold on its own may become available more easily also. So what are we really waiting for? Is there anything to wait for? The very waiting means that what I'm looking for is not here already, and the future moment is going to bring it to me. So the present moment is spent looking forward to an imaginary future moment that will only appear power just went out. So if you can still hear me okay, please let me know with a thumbs up or great. Thank you. So waiting. The future moment can only be experienced in the present moment. So what is not here already in the present moment, the seeker imagines a moment that may happen in the flow of time, becoming the present moment, and for what is absent now, for it to be present in that present moment. It projects the fruit of its search in a future present moment. And we all know these concepts. There's really nothing new to what is being said here. The opportunity that is available here in sharing these concepts and these ideas is to really confirm within one's own experience, in the very aliveness of these words as they're being spoken, to confirm if that is confirmed in one's own experience, if it's acknowledged to be the case or not. There would be no use of remembering these words and then taking them with me and then replaying them in my mind and then trying to, I don't know, trying to understand it or become fluent enough in expressing these concepts. Right in this moment, is it possible to really take all that has been ever said, taking everything that I've ever heard, useful or not useful, spiritual or materialistic, anything that I remember or I hold on to as good or bad, as right or wrong, as even truth or a lie? Is it possible to just drop it for this moment? To just take all of that lightly and not absolutely as any truth or any lie, whatever labels have been put on them? Is it possible to drop the seeking for a moment? And dropping the seeking cannot be done from within the seeking. And yet, if it is possible within your content of experience What is it that drops the seeking? What is it that loosens the grip of seeking? What is it? Is that seeking anything? Is that really looking for a fruit, for any search, for any achievements, for any medals of, I finally done it, I am enlightened? Is it looking to be enlightened? Is it suffering? Can it suffer? Does it need to not suffer? Or does it need a certain kind of experience to be what it is? Does it need anything? Is it temporary? Is this going to pass away? Can this pass away? Be here and not be here? And if you're able to see these questions landing within yourself, and if you see, we can say, answers to those questions appearing, or just these questions dissolving within yourself without the need of being answered, because the answers are not a yes or no or a concept, it's just experiential. So there is no need to put a word on what comes from these questions. If that is available in this moment for you, it can be confirmed that there is no seeker really in this moment. And it can be confirmed that you are still here. And very mathematically even, if you are here and the seeking is not here, you cannot be the seeker. Is it possible to confirm that right now, experientially? And if not, they don't believe these words. Don't believe that you're not the seeker. That probably would be used as another weapon by the seeker to kind of claim that it has gotten it. When the seeker says, I'm not the seeker, that does no good, whatever that means. So, what if it's not available in this moment? The experiential confirmation, if it doesn't show up for me in this moment, then what? Am I doomed? Just being in a space where these words are not rejected, where these words are not nonsense, where these words are not even painful, because there are many, many mechanisms, humans out there that these words would make no sense to, and they wouldn't be interested in anything like this. So just being in a space, in a space within life, within experiencing that these words and these questions are not rejected and are not taken to be nonsense or pointless is already proof enough that it is bound to happen. The experiential recognition is bound to appear within the content of experience. And recognizing just this much also may contribute towards the seeker and the seeking relaxing and letting go of the control of reaching there a little bit. And it may seem gradual or momentary, but it's bound to happen. And it's not, these words are not meant to give the seeker hope, although they do seem like very hopeful words. This is just to facilitate and invite the seeking to relax a little bit, because when a certain phase of seeking hears that it's bound to happen, it can, okay, I can relax. And in that relaxation of the search, it can loosen enough for what is already here to become the center stage of the content of experience. So that would be the very recognition which may become available. it may become possible to just relax choicelessly. You can call it letting go, or you can call it letting be, or you can call it just be, without an attitudinal agenda, without really trying to have a bucket list to fulfill before I die. Not in the literal sense, because you may still want to travel or help your family reach a certain financial level or whatever those priorities may be. They are still beautiful and available to work for, to work towards. But just attitudinally, there's a grounding within the fact that this is all there is. And life as we know it is fleeting. So we never know when the last present moment ends and there is maybe no experience to be lived as this person, as this human being. And grounding in that knowing really makes it possible to not stick our sense of identity, our sense of completeness to that agenda. It can still be fully worked towards. But now fulfilling it or not fulfilling it is known to be a choiceless experience that may happen or not, with or without the efforts that may also choicelessly come towards its fulfillment or not. But the completeness is within the very being that I am already. And doing from the being is the service, is the only service that can be imparted on this world. And yet, when the seeker listens to these words, now it's going to go on a pursuit of understanding or implementing of how to act from the being. But being cannot happen from doing. Within being, the doing happens. And that is already the case. So the world is already being served through each being, through the being as it is. Because the doing is already happening within the being. I feel called to point again towards taking all the words lightly, just letting them float by. And if it's possible, not holding on to them as any truth or any use even. What if what all was mentioned here was equally a lie as the world, as the pursuit of the world out there. And what if it was as true as that? Is it possible to see that the pursuit is not about the truth? When that is recognized, maybe only then can we discover the capacity to not take the flow of life personally, as it would mean something for my pursuit, positive or negative. Maybe that's when I can really allow myself to be, other to be, and life to be as it is. Because the search is not about meaning or purpose. It may very well take on those labels, and it may feel very alive and true that that is exactly what it's about. If that's what it's about, then go on until either you achieve it or you're sick and tired of it, of finding it choicelessly. I want to open the space for anyone who would want to just say hi, have a question or a comment. We'd love to chat. You can just raise your electronic hand and I can unmute you. And go.
Hi, Gorlina.
Hello, Ranko. How are you?
Very nice.
Beautiful.
It's very strange that you mentioned this topic of end of seeking, because just before this meeting, I had a moment, like 15 minutes moment, that I was just feeling, just sitting, nothing, doing nothing. Just, and it didn't happen for me, like I cannot remember how long, just sitting. And in that experience, I found out that my seeking identity is very, very heavy. There is always some kind of program. I should look this video, I should go to some retreat, read books, and I found that it wasn't noticed for me in a long time. So kind of synchronicity. Yeah, I wanted to ask a question about last satsang. You mentioned about boundaries, topic of boundaries. So in modern psychology, they use this term of healthy boundaries, to have healthy boundaries. So in my experience, I was always, for many, many years, people pleaser. So I'm at the opposite place right now. Then putting boundaries seem very cool thing to do. So I wonder, is it really cool, or is it maybe at some point even that should be dropped?
Beautiful question. Thank you. And same pinch on the people-pleasing mechanism. The system that has been gifted to Gurleen, as Gurleen has been a people pleaser also. So I can relate to what you're saying. So yes, boundaries are healthy when it comes to undoing the compulsion or the need to seek validation from out there, from other people's approval, to really let it run out on itself, creating or defining boundaries, and even maybe hard boundaries that may not even seem reasonable at some point or after some point, may be needed to be put in place. And that may well appear for oneself in the process, if that's what's needed and that's what's available. And as you ask if there comes a point there even boundaries have to be dropped, well, there are two sides to that. So when we talk about Renko and Gurleen and being in relationship as one human another, so the play of me and the other, it is healthy to understand what our biological or our inherent preferences or pains are, to understand what works for Gurleen and what doesn't work for Gurleen, outside or free from the psychological suffering needs. So, and before that, it might even be healthy to just be clear on that this triggers suffering. So I'm going to create a boundary to that circumstance for a while. And then there may be enough power in the system to, dip a toe, start dipping a toe and see if that hurts as much as before, and just working your muscle through that scenario. And maybe at a point when that suffering or that neediness is absent altogether, you may still discover that this circumstance is not preferable. Like, I don't like to hang out with a certain kind of friends in a certain kind of place or in a certain kind of setting. So I don't like what I used to do before, or I do like now that the people pleasing or the neediness is not there anymore. So based on that new, I would say, discovery of how that really sits within the system, there can be a boundary, but I wouldn't call it a boundary then. It's just a preference. And whether that preference is fulfilled or not in a certain moment is really choiceless. So if I'm suffering because my preference is not delivered, then that's another place to look at. And then maybe creating another boundary to kind of see how that suffering needs to be clarified within the system. But once the suffering is not there, it's just a preference. It's not a boundary as if, oh, you're not allowed in my house. Well, that may very well be the case with someone or with some people, but it's not coming from a place of, I need this to happen this way for my own well-being. And when that suffering is absent, even this, that I need to not see a certain person for my own well-being because they are violent or they are whatever the case may be, then that's just a preference, but a stronger preference, and you make sure that that happens. And if it doesn't happen, I suffer the consequences. Like, well, let's not use the word suffer to confuse it, but I bear the consequences. But there's no suffering as to how could this happen, because attitudinally it's known that it's all happening and there is nobody really doing anything.
Yeah, when I'm seeing that situation, I feel that the cause of it is my sense of lack, self unworthiness, and that drives that. So basically, this process of making boundaries is simultaneous with this understanding that my worthiness is not coming from situations, relationships, and it is connected really with my deeper self.
Yes.
So in a way, it's a process of recognition, I would
Yes.
say.
Yes. That's accurate. That's true. And the other side of that aspect of boundaries is recognizing your deeper self, as you labeled it. You recognize that it is boundaryless. There is no boundary where the me ends and the other begins. So that in that paradigm or in that context, there is no boundary. But living in daily life with relationships, as we know life to be, it might be very useful to have boundaries. And if there are no boundaries here, then, well, yeah, I don't know how we would live in this world where rules have to be followed. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's an individual process.
Yes.
Everybody has to discover it for itself.
Yes, exactly. There's 7 billion people on Earth, and there's 7 billion ways to awaken. Thank you, Ranko. Zoom user.
Hi, Gurleen. This is Ranjan.
Hi. What's your name? Who am I talking to?
Ranjan.
Oh, hi, Ranjan. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing good. How about
Great.
you?
Very well, thank you.
So are you still at Tiruvannamalai or you moved back to Canada?
No, I am still very much in Thiru.
Okay.
Yes, it seems like I will be here for a few weeks.
Oh, that's very nice. Is there any satsang there, Gurleen? Like face-to-face means as a group we can participate?
Not yet, no. The satsangs that are offered are in this setting right now. And
Okay.
if there appears an opportunity in life that needs to happen, a face-to-face setting kind of a gathering, then maybe I'll keep you posted on that.
To discover ourselves, because as a practice or as a natural, I'm aware of moment to moment. I'm aware of how these responses, reactions, and also thinking process, projections. But so what is the source of these projections? Like from where it's these projections happen, and how it is linked to the body or the breath? Um, it, because seems to be like unless we see the source, it won't come to an end. Or yeah. I really don't know, like how this can be addressed, or it's just we can't do anything about it, and just we have to wait and watch. Uh, And also another question is like, it's similar, like, is it possible to awaken the process of or death? Example, I'm saying that, is it possible to awaken the death? I think it is more connected. As long as I exist, the other cannot exist. The or divinity, or I don't know the other name. It's, or is it just an illusion again that I am just believing to be that I exist as a separate entity and divinity is another entity? Or
So is it possible for you to put your question in a few words? You said about awakening the death. I'm not really sure what you meant by that.
yeah, as the body gets older, at a certain point,
Mhm.
death is realized or something, right? Death is triggered. I don't know the process. It's sometimes it happens early for some people, and sometimes it happens later. Sometimes happens through accident, or sometimes through disease. But this whole spirituality process is that, right? Like, rather than waiting for I really don't know, like, means ending it, right? The death means ending it, right? Ending. So we have accumulated some memories, some experiences, and we are going to end that. That is, and also the body, physically body dies. So, but that ending, is it possible now? That is what my question was. Like, is it possible to complete ending, not like gradual process? Like, I just sit and watch, aware every moment, for all these experiences, for all this knowledge to, uh, because somewhere this knowledge or these experiences is affecting the harmony of the well-being, right? So is it possible to end that all that knowledge now?
Knowledge of spirituality or knowledge just of,
Any psychological knowledge, because in spiritual knowledge also, okay, we have gathered
yeah,
so much, we have heard,
yeah.
and spiritual knowledge, and also there is a psychological knowledge also. So I think that is the base for the seeker to, and that knowledge is the food for the seeker, right? Like, it's keep on remembering that knowledge or modifying that knowledge. And so I really don't know what is the source as a seeker exist in this body and taking this knowledge and processing this knowledge in a different forms.
And you would like to end it. uh, because your question was, is it possible to completely end it and not gradually just end it? Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Why would you want to end it? What lies at the end of ending it?
I really don't know what lies at the end of ending it, but I know only that it is this kind of knowledge is bit uh, deceiving it. I can say that it is moreover, even though you are aware of it, maybe moments you deceive, and that deception can bring suffering, and also that can hurt you or myself or others. So that is only this part, this much I know, but ending of it, other part I don't know.
No, that's beautiful, Ranjan. Thank you for sharing it seems like that your system has read a lot and that is seeming to be more harmful or counterproductive to what the intention was to understand all of those concepts in the first hand. So just the awareness of it, the way you're reporting it, it really feels like that you're aware, there is awareness that all these accumulated concepts are doing more harm than bringing, so they're adding to the suffering than taking it away, what they were supposed to do. And there is a desire, a natural, valid desire to not suffer on top of the suffering, which this so-called spiritual concepts are becoming. Yeah. I don't know if that'll be a good enough answer at this moment, but it's just a matter of awareness. It's a matter of being aware, not that you are aware. Maybe there comes a possibility of noticing that there is an awareness of this, and there is also an awareness of not liking this.
Yeah, actually, there is not liking this. There is awareness. I can say when I'm walking in the park or something, or if I'm sitting in the home, I'm aware of the sounds. Not that I am. There is awareness. Of course, there are sound, and also I can listen bird sound, everything very well. So at that time there is nothing. There is only naked presence or emptiness, I can say that. Clearly listen to that bird sound, and clearly when I go outside, the spaciousness, that makes my mind is completely empty. There is fully aware and the spaciousness, everything. But when we sit alone, then things come up, because all day from morning till evening is I am maybe habituated to watching, so and that is continuously watching it. I'm not changing anything. I'm not asking anything, but I'm just watching it, and also then dreams, maybe some things based on this day experience. The dreams is also sometimes it's I understand that it is also emptying out itself. So, but yeah, but this is this that's what, like, is this process. I don't have any intention to seek benefit out of it, ending or anything. But I really don't know that what is the right question to ask, or I should not ask any question for that. Or this ending is it a selfish motive of expecting to end, or so I am just being aware, so I'm expecting, okay, this should come to an end, so let it empty out everything. I really don't know that. I'm a bit stuck in this process.
Are there moments in your day when you're not watching, or where you're not aware of watching going on?
Yes, there is moments of like when I'm doing work. So maybe that time I'm fully focused on doing work. That time I'm not concerned about watching or anything. But most of the times I'm aware. So whenever these projections happen, maybe suddenly I shift my focus on the body and just bring attention to surroundings. So, or maybe washing utensils, I just listen to the sound. So like that, just shifting away the focus. But yeah, there are moments like I'm not watching. Like when I'm watching movie, I'm not completely watching. I'm just enjoying the movie like that.
And as you mentioned that when things appear, you shift your focus to the body or to, the surroundings. Does it work for you? Like whatever was arising, does it seem to subside easier than when that doesn't happen for you?
Yes, it subsides. Only thing is like something that thought patterns or some reactions trigger that will easily subside when I move my focus on other thing like listening to some sound or focusing on the body attention. So that will easily subside. So I will not continue engage in thinking process. For that, some thought appears, so I don't engage in thinking of that. But somewhere in the my eyes, my brain, some I don't know what changes are happening. So some feels strain, and suddenly it feels there is some thinking about this process.
Hmm.
Like so, it's not ending. Maybe that is so that is something is stuck in the loop.
Yeah. Where is this going?
Yeah, where is this going? So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Very honest and vulnerable sharing, Ranjan. And I'm sure this is something that very many of us can relate to, and not many of us can put into words. So thank you for doing that. All I feel to say in this moment, not knowing where this is going is the suffering that I'm looking to be free of. So it feels like that if I know, I won't suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, maybe when there is an okayness with not knowing, the suffering may fall away. So maybe it's easier than that. Maybe I don't need to know. Maybe some other movement is what's going to lead to me not suffering about where is this going. Because I need to know where this is going is why I suffer. And this is not to say that you need to know. There's just this arising of needing to know on top of the thought or the mechanism of where is this going? I've been doing this for years. I have met so many gurus. I have read so many teachings and followed them, and they worked until now. But where is this really going from here? And on top of that, there is a clinging to want to know the answer to that. And what if the peace or the relaxation that I'm looking for that I think will come from the answer to that question. And that's why the process seems to be identified to finding the answer out there in here, however, in whatever capacity, or waiting. You use the word waiting also. So even just taking on the pursuit of waiting for the answer to appear on its own. What if the answer is not needed for it to fall away? Is that a possibility? Does it sound too like nonsense, or how does that sound?
Yes. Yeah. It's yeah. That is the. Yeah, it's more mainly habituated, I guess, to come to that point that need not to know. if something has to be revealed, it reveals itself. So I don't need to search for or longing for.
And there may not be a revelation at all. Maybe a revelation is not needed at all.
Not needed. Yeah.
So it is natural to feel restless with the pursuit of wanting to know that like awareness is here. It seems like what all these teachings have been pointing to is already flowering within the experience, and yet there is still this need to end triggers or end suffering, or needing to know where this pursuit really ends. And maybe the end is in relaxing into this very pursuit.
Yeah.
So the pursuit
it's
may not end, but my needing for it to end may end.
Yeah.
And if I talk about practical tool, little tool, so maybe when these things arise, something that works for you, like just a word or, just a reminder, just throw it in there. It's like, just relax, or whatever works for you. Just find your own words, and maybe just when that appears as to what is happening, when is it ever going to end, and when there is awareness of that, just relaxing, and not relaxing for it to go away, but just relaxing into that. It's like, I understand that it feels this way, and just relax, and let's not agitate it further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's mainly because we know that the awareness is one minute.
You are muted.
Yeah, we know that, yes, awareness presence, it is peaceful, it is joyful, but somewhere we have that expectation of something.
Yes.
It changes some the condition of the body in a different way, like, so you feel completely, your brain completely is rewired or relaxed after all this lot of struggle, lot of suffering or frustration. So maybe because of that, it is this seeking is still exists, or finding it out still exists.
There is no answer to why this is still happening. There may be a deduction or a logical kind of reasoning that may go on from within your own process, but overall speaking, why is this still going is also a suffering mechanism. All that can be said is that it is still going.
Yeah.
And according to my experience, at least, there is no answer to why this is still going on. And for sure, there might be some, there probably is some unconscious fruit or some paying off that's going on from seeking, as one of the things that you just mentioned. So definitely, if the pain of seeking is less than the fruit of seeking, if there is any, then the seeking will go on. That's just a natural law of how things work.
Yeah, that's clear.
No, but I would just say, and take it as it feels. Don't take it as an absolute kind of suggestion, but maybe not watching so much for a while. See that how that goes. Just relaxing into living daily life. So focusing on work, going for a walk, whatever your day entails. Just maybe not focusing on watching that much, and see if that changes something. Because
Yeah, because
you're
that is what I realized. When I was walking on the street, I was pretty just walking. So yeah, I'm aware because I feel that spaciousness presence when I'm walking or sitting. So then I felt that I don't need to watch actually because I feel this spaciousness. So why I need to much concerned about this uh, projections or conditioning?
Yeah.
So I can just leave it, let it whatever goes on, let it go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I feel to also point towards. So if it's already happening, that's beautiful. And let me know next time if the watching is not so
Fruits.
compulsive anymore. Because when one thing has done its job, it so just for example, medicine. When you're sick, you take the medicine. When you're not sick anymore, you quit taking the medicine. You don't keep taking it. So
Right. Yeah.
because the medicine may itself become a sickness or a poison when there is no sickness present and I'm still taking it. So maybe try to take a break from the medicine of witnessing.
Yeah, it is because of maybe spiritual knowledge also. Because when I was listening to Krishnamurti talks, I was fascinated about ending it in a moment. So I was very much fascinated. Maybe it was greed or I don't know. I didn't feel it as a greed. I felt it as a, yeah, if that kind of grace is there, I felt that is a grace that ending it instantly, so that so all the suffering you can end it. But at the same time, yes, there was also a process needs to understand like whole what is this life about, the desire, what is the desire, pleasure, all this whatever experience we have. It is not just ending it, maybe ending happens once this understanding is there.
Well, maybe it's simpler than that, Ranjan. It's definitely steps. How do illiterate people become enlightened?
That's right.
Yeah. So maybe it's simpler. It's much simpler than that. And maybe that's why a relaxation is needed.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I don't need to understand, and the suffering may still fall away. What if that's available for the process of Ranjan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just entertain that thought and see if it takes you anywhere.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're very welcome. Thank you for dropping in. iPhone 4. You must be getting a request to unmute yourself. Maybe that was my mistake. I'm not sure. Take it lightly, if possible. And if not possible, then maybe take that lightly, that it's not possible to take it lightly. Another way to say it is don't take it personally. And it is choiceless. It's either choiceless or it's choiceless. Here's a message from iPhone 4. I think that's Cheryl. Please, everyone, give yourself a pat on the back. That has to be Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Very well so. It is done within the being that is. Thank you for dropping by. See you next Sunday. Until then, let's see what happens. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you all.